Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And this video I'm creating is for those people who cannot afford to learn animation and the students who don't have the right resources around their house or in their city to learn animation correctly. Or maybe students who are getting misguided by what is right and what is wrong, what is the actual process of doing animation. So this video, I'm going to share you in detail how to start an animation short and how do you end up doing it at a professional level. I understand that you might have learned animation from somewhere, maybe from some videos as well, and still you are not getting the results. Either you are having confusion or having some doubts, but there is nobody to ask. So this is the video you must watch without skipping a single minute, because every time I will be sharing pointers, and if you skip even for a minute, a lot of points might get missed out. And that is why it's necessary for you. If I'm sharing this to help you grow in animation, then you must watch it completely without skipping to get the best benefit out of this video. So I'm going to share you 6 steps to animate right from the beginning. Even when you start animating, from that, if you have a reference, from that I will explain you how can you actually take your animation to match that reference exactly, or maybe close to that reference. So let's get into the video and understand how the process works. Now, I will play a reference for you to understand how does it start. Now, this is a reference, okay? Just for an example, I'm taking the reference. For your case, it might be some other reference, whatever you really want to do. So you can actually understand the aspects from this video and implement it in your own reference shots. So if you have any kind of a reference, if this is the reference, you might be having some walk, run, whatever the action, acting shot, any reference you would be having. So just open the reference first. That is the first step. So I mentioned you about the 6 steps, right? So the first step is planning the shot. Now, what it means, what is planning the shot? A lot of students make this mistake of immediately getting into the animation. And that is the biggest mistake any student can make. Because if you don't know the actual aspects of what you really want to do in the animation, how you are going to approach the animation shot, because every shot is having a different level of difficulty, different level of the complexity. So that is why it's very important to take care of the first step, which is planning the shot. Now, what I mean by saying planning the shot, that is what exactly I'm going to share now. First job for you is to just watch the reference 2-3 times in loop. So suppose you have this shot, you have this reference, and you want to replicate this reference. So planning the shot means you need to understand what are the props involved. Are there any props? If not, what is the character doing? Is this he or she sitting or standing, or where is the weight? How you are going to actually start it? What are going to be the poses? How, if it's a technical shot, suppose in this shot, if you see, there is a prop in the hand. That means now it's difficult than the normal shot, because here you are having a prop which is interacting with the main character. And that is why this shot is going to be a little bit difficult than the normal acting shot. So that comes into planning. So when I have a prop, first planning I will do is, maybe if you have a dummy or if you have the actual prop, then you need to understand and plan. Okay, one by one, you just play the video slowly, or maybe even move frame by frame, and then check what are the things you need to take care of in the shot. If you see this here at the beginning, it's a quite a subtle animation. So then she is actually holding the hands of the teddy bear and then playing around, and whatever the action which is happening, the teddy bear is actually getting impacted by the actions of the girl. Okay, so what I mean by planning is if I had to do this shot, how will I plan the shot? First thing I will think of is okay, this is how I will do the layout. Okay, I'll put a sofa or maybe a basic chair, something like this. Even if you don't have the exact same reference of background, it's okay. So you can have a basic sofa, you can import a character. Again, if you want the character to do this same thing, then you need to have a prop of a teddy bear or anything which has hands or something in the sideways so that she can hold. Similarly, like this, and if you're not willing to copy the same animation, you can copy the idea that how is the acting happening in the shot. What is the one more problem in the beginners is they replicate the reference completely. And that is also one big mistake, because when you replicate it completely, actually you are not using your brain in the ideas. And if you are an animator, then your first job is to think about the ideas, how you are going to perform, what is going to be the acting. That comes into planning. What is going to be the acting? How will you behave? How will you react? If you are having a prop, how will you deal with the prop? Those all things happen and come in the planning thing. So if I'm having this reference, never completely copy the reference. Think something creative which you can change. Suppose instead of prop, you can change something else in the shot, right? So for me, the planning is I will just think about a sofa, then a character, small girl character, then a teddy bear. I will need this thing, this stuff. And yes, these are few of the poses. Are there any technical poses where I need to do something, some changes in the rigs? That is also what you need to check. Again, in this, we are not having something like that, where again there is parenting, because if you see the teddy bear, once when she is holding the ears of the teddy bear or the hands, at that time you will parent your hand with the teddy bear's hands. That is what you need to plan, because when you start doing it, then you don't realize where are you making a mistake, how you have to do. So in this shot, the planning would be okay, in this frame I will be parenting my hands with the teddy bear's ears or hands when she is holding them, and then later on I will unparent it, and then again I will check what else is happening. Okay, she is playing around here, so now she is putting the hand on the sofa here. That means she is actually interacting with the character with this prop also, and she is interacting with the sofa also. Now in this case, if you are planning to do or keep the hands in FK mode, then don't do it. Keep the hands in IK. That is planning. Keep the hands in IK because it is interacting with the sofa. There is some weight in the fingers. It is interacting with the prop as well. And here I will just go and see, okay, this is the acting part. Again, the weight is on the finger, the way she is posing, shoulders. And then again, she realizes something, whatever she was thinking. And then she again holds the hand of the teddy bear. Now here, again, I need to parent my hand with the teddy bear's hand so that it interacts with my acting. Or else what will happen? You will have to animate it every frame if you don't parent it. And there are high chances that anything will mismatch in the movement. Okay. So for this shot, mainly the planning needs a sofa, a character, a prop, and you will have the hands in IK. The legs will also be in IK. And you will parent the hand at a particular frame with the hand of the teddy bear. That is something I will plan for the shot. Now comes the next stage, the next step. Next step is the layout. Now, once you understand these are the things I will need, then what you will do is you will find those assets or you will create those assets and set up a camera in this angle, make the character sit in this angle, and then adjust everything, whatever is there around, and set up your file. That is going to be your layout file. How is your layout file going to look? If you see here, can you see? I will just make it polygon. And this is something I have set the layout file. Now I have changed the pose because as I said, I did not want to use the prop and I wanted to change some idea of the shot. So I removed the prop and I changed the acting little bit accordingly. That is what you also can do in whatever reference you are having so that it brings originality to your shot. What will happen or else is you will see a reference, you will immediately replicate it. So people know that this is a reference because people have seen that video a lot of times. And if you create the same animation, people will not think that you have done something. If you change any aspect of that reference, people will know, okay, this is done by somebody else because this is the change in the earlier shot. This is a particular change happening. So that is how you can be unique. You can have a different idea about the same shot. As I said, the second step is the layout. This is what I have done the layout. There is no camera animation. So this is the basic layout thing. I will just set up a camera. Can you see here? If I select the camera, I have locked the camera. I have renamed the camera. Why locking the camera? So that suddenly accidentally if you move the viewport it does not change and your camera remains the same, because whatever animation is going to happen, it's going to happen according to the camera. If you change the camera, the direction of where the character is looking and everything changes, because camera is the only thing that gets rendered out of your frame. That means when you watch a film, that film is the actual camera angle in your Maya software. Whatever is there in the camera, that is going to be visible to the audience in the theater, on YouTube channel, wherever you are posting that video. So it's very important what you are putting in the camera, what you want the audience to see in your shot. Now, the third step which comes in is the blocking. Now, you need to plan at every stage, by the way. First, you plan is the complete shot, any technical things. Then you need to plan actually everything. When it comes to blocking, then what can you do is you can figure out the key poses of the shot. Now, what are the key poses, the main poses of the shot? There is something called key pose and there is something called extremes. Extremes are the ones from where you change the direction of the shot. Key poses are the poses which shows the audience what you are trying to say, that conveys the story. If you see here, if I need to pick out some of the key poses from the shot. First pose is the first pose. This is going to be a key pose, the way she is actually starting the shot. Right? This is going to be the key pose. Then we'll check what is she doing. He's thinking. These all will come in your breakdown and in betweens. Now this pose you can consider as a second key pose. Right? She's thinking something, playing around. And then again this pose. This pose you can again consider as your main pose of your blocking. This is going to be the third pose. Again, somewhere here, you can keep this also as your another key pose where she is looking around sideways and having the hands on the sofa. Then again, this pose. This pose is going to be your next key pose. Now she realizes something. Now this realization we will add later. This is the anticipation of actually doing the action. Now you can create this pose. I am Moana, right? This. when she is bending down to say, I am Moana. Now, whatever the accents that come in, that you can add if you want a little bit detailed blocking. But in blocking, it generally it's not required to have too many poses. If you see here, I can still add a few of the poses in the blocking, which is like when she is from here, we consider this as the key pose. And then here, getting an idea. Getting an idea. This is also you can add in your blocking, like wow, like this you can add in your blocking. And then this coming down, I am Moana, and then she again goes up. Yeah, somewhere. Okay, now it's fine. So these are the key poses that you can take out from this reference. You might be having any other reference. Accordingly, you can find out the references of your key poses to do the blocking. Why it's not recommended to do too many poses in your blocking? Because blocking is your first stage actually. Layout is your setup of camera and everything. Blocking is when you actually start animating. And that is why if you do too much of your action in the blocking stage, if you go and ask anyone, maybe your supervisor, or if you are learning, maybe you're asking to your mentor, then if you are making a mistake, then a lot of your time will be wasted. Because if you do too many poses, you will occupy too much of time to do that poses. And if you get the feedback that you need to change a lot of things, then again you will spend the double time to address those feedbacks. So it's recommended you only do the key poses when you are doing the blocking of the shot. And always make sure, always you do step by step. Always do this. Save your layout file separately, save your blocking file separately, so that whenever you get stuck with a particular shot, if something is not happening, if the file is crashed, you have your blocking file always with you. If your blocking file is deleted, you have your layout file with you. It's not like you have to start again the complete shot from the planning. That is why it's recommended that you save your files in particular versions. Like layout, you should have a layout file, blocking file, primary file, secondary file, and the final file. And also in these main files, you should have save as incremental saves also. Incremental save is a save. So whenever you do a little bit of work, suppose in 10 minutes you are doing the work and then you are pressing Control S. Typically what happens is you save the file on that current file. So that gets overridden and just the timing changes of the shot, that at this time you did some change in the shot. But when you turn on the incremental save, then the moment you press Control S, it creates a new file as your save file. Then again, when you do some work, you press Control S, it creates again a new file. So what happens is you get the benefit of keeping all the versions. And suppose now something happens, light is gone, your file is crashed, then you have the latest file with you, that is your previously saved file. And you can hardly use half an hour of work or 1 hour of work in that case. So that's very, very important when you are saving the file. So we covered 3 steps till the blocking. Now the 4th step is your primary animation. Now, what is primary animation? In primary, you add the in-betweens of the shot. Now, first we did the main poses, okay? Now, suppose your main poses are approved, that this is how the shot will happen. This is what the character will do. Only the main poses, the way you see in the magazines, right? You understand what is going to be the story. That is how. And then when you move to the 4th step, that is your primary animation, then you add the in-between poses. How that pose is going to transition. If you are having 2 poses here to here, then how you will switch from this to this. You need to add those in-between keys where you can make the audience understand how your transition is going to happen. If I have to come from here to here, then I need to show whether I come from like this, whether I come like this, whether I come like this, whatever you want to do, that you need to decide in your primary stage. So if you see here, I did some random, this is not a complete shot. This is a WIP shot. but yes, it will help you to understand. Right? I only did this. I changed the little bit of concept. The way she was doing in the shot, she was having, if you see here, she was having a prop. I removed the prop and I did that simple acting with the help of hands, right? The way we do when we are like, okay, wow, okay. The kids do like this, right? So I tried to do like that, but I haven't completed the shot. Right? Again, I've done this pose from the shot. If you see here, she is somewhat creating this pose. Yeah, somewhere here. Here. Can you see somewhere here? Now here she is having a prop that we are not having. That's it. That's the only thing. And then this pose. Okay, we had this pose also in here. Right, this one. And the rest of the thing was remaining. Now, what are you going to do in your primary animation? Now, suppose this is your first pose. And this is your second pose, which you did. So how she is transitioning from here to here? In between, she is this. This is kind of an in between. Here in the primary, you can add this pose. I'm not talking about the expressions and all that you need to add later on when you are done with your acting. The body performance is done, then you do your expressions and your lip sync and everything. So here, this pose. So the way she is transitioning from here, normal thing, to like this, and then she is transitioning to the other pose. So this thing is the in-between pose, the way she is getting from one A to B. And then this was our next key pose. Then again, she comes ahead. This. This was our key pose. How did she come here? At a particular in between, she will be leaving here. She is coming forward here. When she is trying to grab the finger from the other hand here. So you can have this pose as your in between, somewhere around here, and create this pose as your in between pose while doing the primary action. Then we go to the next one. Now here she is still thinking. Here you can have this pose as your in between. Thinking, but the hands are moving. You are having the hand action continuing. So that can be done because we made this pose as the next pose, right? If you remember, this was our next key pose. So to bring the character from here, this was our earlier one. So from here to here, in between, what is happening? She is coming here, stopping here, and then rolling the hand, and then coming back here. So we can have this pose as your in between. And this pose we can add as a breakdown later on. First is the in between. We add the breakdowns later on. This happens, and then she comes to this pose. Then she realizes. Can you see? Now this is an expression switch. She realizes. So, she goes down and comes up, but it's very subtle. What I see the students making mistake is they do too loud. They make. This is not how you actually behave or react. When you are in shock, then you can have this kind of loud action. But when you are actually thinking and you are a little bit surprised or you get an idea, You generally don't do too much of like, huh, like this. As she's a kid also, you need to remember that also. What is the character? Aged woman or a young woman or a lady or a boy or a kid? What is the age group? That also matters in your acting choices. Now here, she gets down. This down pose we can add. Now here, going up. Right? This is what we added as an in between earlier, if you remember. So here you can add this. The way she is coming to the pose. This, we made this as the main pose, if you remember, coming down. So this, the moment when she will be turning down, this is what you can add in your primary here, in between when she is holding. So this is how your primary is going to be finished. Then comes the fifth step, that is your secondary animation. That means now you can add your breakdowns. Now, this is what I do. I also add, typically, I add the breakdowns also in the primary itself. So, in secondary, I only need to do the overlapping, follow through, and breaking the timing things in my secondary animation. Typically, that is what I do. Breakdowns are again the sub actions of your in betweens. So, suppose if I'm here, okay, this is A and B position. If I'm here, I need to look here like this. Okay, I need to look here. So I can, in between, I will add how will I go there. So I can add this as my in between, and I'll be moving like this. Okay, so this is going to be in between. But what is breakdown? Breakdown is you again break your first half action into again half. So, like, how will I get into this pose then? First was how will I get into that pose? I will get into that pose through this. Now, how will I get into this pose is going to be decided by the breakdown. I might have this, right? I might take my head first. I might take my eyes first like this and rotate my head and then move like this. So this is the breakdown which you will add into your in-betweens. So in this shot, if you need to do, what you will be doing is here, these sub-actions. She is seeing here. These things you will add. The legs which are moving. Can you see? She is playing with the legs. That you will be adding. And then here, this was our key pose. The hand moving, coming here. See the legs. Now this, she is looking up. Here, leaving the hand. This is what I said, right? You can add it as a breakdown. Here, this, the playing stuff of the hand. You can create a pose somewhere around when she is sliding. Here, this pose. And can you see here, she is sliding the hand on the sofa. And then here, she is looking down. This looking down thing also, you need to add while you are doing the breakdown. So that while you reach your secondary, you have actually the complete shot, how it's going to look. Only your very, very minute detailed actions will be remaining. Rest everything you would have done, you would have finished it. The expressions, the lip sync, and the secondary movements, and your overlapping follow through and breaking the timing. These things will be the only remaining. And then once you do that, once you finish it up, so now at this level, then once you are finished with your secondary animation, then comes the time for the last step, which is refining your shot. So by the time you have done the secondary animation, everything is actually finished. Now you start working on your expressions and your lip sync. You do the lip sync accordingly, the way you are turning your head and that stuff. And then expressions. Whenever you will be, when you did the acting, where you are looking, how are you thinking, your thinking time, you're changing the expression time, switching time, eye blink. These all things will be added at this stage. And what I mean by overlapping and follow through, if you see here in the shot, if I again play the shot completely for you. If you see this shot is not like a normal animation where we actually have snappy things moving. We have pose to pose things. Again, we start the shot, we do the shot pose to pose way only. But the final output doesn't seem it's a pose to pose thing or a snappy animation. It's a continuous flowing smooth animation. So at the last stage, when you are working on your shot, what you have to do is you need to check all the arcs, your spacing, your timing. So how do you check that? You just track your hands. If I just turn on any of the controllers and show you, I'll go to visualize and editable motion trial. If you see here, these lines appear. Now I have done only the blocking part, so the lines will not be clear, right? So if these lines, whatever the movement is, if the hand is going from here to here, then these lines should have a curvature like this. Or if the hand is going from here to here, it should not go like this. It should go like this. There should be a flow, an arc, the lines which are visible to you now in the motion trial. Can you see here from here to here, this motion? This blue line is getting converted into red line. Blue is I'm here and it turns to red when you travel that line. So here you need to make sure you clear it. If I move it here in between, can you see the arc has changed? Now this is what I'm doing just to show you that this is how you bring the arc. But you also need to take care whether the pose is right or not in that particular frame when you are bringing that arc. So this is the complete process of actually doing the animation shot. Lot of students don't think about these topics and they just start and just replicate the shot and feel that they actually have learned animation. So this was about, I will just quickly delete this motion trial. So this was about the complete 6 steps of animating the shot. And this is especially for the people who think that I don't need a mentor. I can only learn, I can learn on my own through some tutorials. So this is a very detailed explanation of how you do the things. I cannot show you by moving, right? You have only 3 tools in the animation. You just rotate it, you translate it, and you hit a key. These are the 3 things you do when you animate the shot. Now, whatever shot you animate, every shot is a different shot. Nobody can teach you all the shots because there are unlimited shots. There is infinite number of animation shots that you can produce, but you need to learn the process, how you do the shot. That is the only thing which is going to help you do multiple complexity shots because you are knowing the process. So this is a complete process, 6-step process of finishing the shot very professionally. I hope you guys liked this video and you got a lot of new insights and value out of this video. If you really like this video, do share the video among all other people so that they also can take the benefit and learn animation free if they are having some trouble with the finances. And after watching this video also, if you feel that it's very difficult for you to actually know about the aspects and you are still not able to manage or do the shot, then without thinking much, don't waste your time. If you really want to build your career as an animator, then find a mentor. I'm not saying come to me, but find a mentor, find a place where you can actually get the hand holding that the person can help you how to do these things because none of the video in animation actually can bring results until you don't have a mentor. But I have tried explaining everything in detail in this video so that if you don't have anything else, you can at least get a right direction of doing the animation. So thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for supporting my channel and showing more and more love. So I'll be creating more such videos to help you guys about animation. I'll see you in the next video. This is Naresh Chaudhary, India's first passion animator mentor, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and God bless.